season. Kyshawn George with
penetration. George, the theft, the patience.
After the ankle injury, got one against Pitt.
Father his shot. George rocking. So much so that they put size on him this game. George will fire. Nice touch there.
There's only a second to go on the shot clock for George.
Here's Cleveland. George wide open. And he knocks down the three.
That was given by their head coach.
George gets free. He's got 16. In attack mode, working on Madsen for a double team. Floats it up.
George from Joseph. Spot up three is good for George again. Into the body of Belt. Oloko's going to set the screen. George rises.
Driving it around Barron. Scoop shot, yes. And a foul.
Allen with the basketball. Now working on the freshman. Kyshawn George. No foul. And another near offensive. First for Miami. 4-on-3. George wide open three. He'll try again.
Orchad Omier back in the game. Gets rid of it to the corner. George fills it up. Joseph from the line to the lane to the rim. George up.
Rain's house. Oh, that's no lie. He's kind enough to let Dick live there. From the corner,
He was ready to fire as soon as he caught it.
tough drive in traffic.
Ability for it.
Well, Miami up big, leading by 25. What do you want to see from these guys right now, Jack? What are you looking for?
You want to see them to play unselfish Miami basketball. Because you don't want to.
The Woko's obviously got some size to him, but if you were going to put the biggest fire
on scorching sun,
right,
scraping up your knees, coming back in the house,
tripping on rocks. Nobody was in a gym. You had no idea where I was, but I had a ball in a basket.
Smart basketball play. George for three. He sticks it. Two on our networks, St. John's and Boston College, to follow us. Omier up top from George, who just had his pocket pick. And lost it again. George is set to defend the ball. So back in the half court for Colorado with a 9-point lead. And then a takeaway is back. Inside Casey from George.
By 16.
Kyshawn George.
Rickus kicks it. Brantley spins, finding daylight narrowly, and he throws up an air ball. The freshman Kyshawn George takes it himself, and that'll work.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful stroke. And User has foot surgery scheduled for next week. So when you go into a game, here comes Miami looking for its 9th win of the season. George has a beautiful Miami high for a single game is 17. I don't think he's going to catch his career high, which came at Arkansas State. This year, they're number 2 behind only Brigham Young at 12.5 made triples per game. A rare mid-range shot, and it's an air ball.
Dell wore 30, so I'm thinking the favorite number 30. But when he said that would be the number of threes they would take, I would much prefer to see.
Meanwhile, the Canes have barely missed, 6 for 8 from the floor. And all 6 of those have been assisted.
Guys in rotation all average over 1 3-point field goal attempt per game. This play starts, well, it's already started, but picks back up. Right after the new year, Bensley Joseph, and just the fact that from a positional size, he's at a disadvantage against the guys he'd be playing against.
Kyshawn George for 3.
Heels there if they're alert to it. George open in the corner, and he'll answer with a height advantage on Omier, but Omier, and Hall is strong, but Omier's in a whole other league. That voice you hear belongs to Brad Brownell, the Clemson coach, who's right in front of us. We are at ACC Championship Final Four. I mean, he blurted it out. George from the wing, and he can't get it back. Dylan Hunter won't let him. George hoists it up and hits his 4th three of the game. The place underneath with Hall and Omier. Boy, George can really speed up the court, can he? And he gets... Hang on. It wasn't finishing.
That becomes a factor on the offensive glass. Reed and Carr on the front line for the...
As a team, Miami 37% from the floor. George trying to improve that percentage.
He's got the length and to bother his shot.
George rocking.
He's yet to score in the game.
George, three-pointer.
Wow.
Miller thought about a 25.
Too cute on the break that time.
George lining up a three, and he makes point shooting team in the conference. Carr thought about one, gave it to Hildreth. That's for three. Both days end, but he had that final shot. Inside George, what a feat.
Baseline, finding them off penetration. George, the theft, the patience, and one. Wide open George, it's good. To their sets, they try to move the defense. James on the drive, off balance, follows his miss, blocked at the rim. A little undersized, but a guy that plays with a sense of purpose. Williams is a big-time shot maker. Not sure that's a shot that Coach Payne. You can call me Al. In the words of Paul Simon and Ring Gardner. For the tie, and Louisville pulls even. George the other way. They were sleeping.
For more. Padula. Kyshawn George runs at him. He's starting the second half.
That hook pass, and he's thrown 3 of them away tonight.
George a three. The freshman from Padula now trying to get away from a double team of George and Omier with 8 to shoot, and he threw it away. And Kyshawn George. Skip for George. He'll launch from the logo and bank it in.
Sophomore out of Memphis. Good defense by Poplar. Up ahead to George. Tonight on 12 made field goals.
Awardy has a lot to do with that. He defends and uses his length, and he's first pass first play, switch 5, and the guards get on him. He has to dominate the offensive glass.
Watkins underneath. They continue to challenge Omier. George driving on Danny. He's going to be a good one. He honored it. Here's Cleveland. George wide open. And he knocks down the 3.
Along with Justin Taylor and Chris Bell. Judah Mintz, the Orange's leading scorer at 18.5 per game, controls. Now the leading scorers in the ACC will lean in with a second to shoot. And his missed shot pass, under the basket. George from Joseph. Spot up 3 is good for Kyshawn. Copeland going to drive it into George. Copeland hanging in the air for Cleveland. Poplar and the man of the hour, Nigel Pack. It'll be the freshman George back in our triple-double watch here at the Dome. George again into the body of Bell. Kyshawn to him.
You got to get out of his way, young fella.
Aloka's going to set the screen. George rises. Kyshawn. Burton has it poked away by Matthew Cleveland. Here comes Kyshawn. Going end-to-end, laying it in. All by himself. Kyshawn George.
For the hometown Fighting Irish.
Norchad. 5 on the timer. Burton has it poked away. Good defense by George. And then Imes knocks it away. Who's going to come up with it? Held ball.
Mahomes going squaring off in the AFC Championship game. That's a big deal.
George throw it up to the rim. And it's another dunk for Knesny. Beats the buzzer. Irish had missed 9 of its last 10 shots. Coming out of the timeout, they get a good look. Not as good as that. Second half. Knesny, no. George fouls, he fouls out. Kyshawn George fourth.
Needs to shoot it, gave it up. George got it away in time, and he made it right at
Matures and gets stronger, that George is going to be a terrific rebounder. We know he can do that.
Poplar saves it in the corner. It's only a second to go on the shot clock for George.
42-inch vertical. He hadn't dunked for a few games after the ankle injury. Got one against Pitt Saturday.
Well, NC State +4 in the turnover margin, and typically Kevin Keith's teams do turn you over.
If guys would shoot that, it would clang off the rim.
And the loss to NC State, 18 points, 14 rebounds. Padula, that was partially blocked.
When he dropped those 33, so much so that they put size on him this game.
George will fire. Nice touch there from three-point. Always wants to push that tempo. And comes free, and another turnover. Giving it right back was George. He can't drive it. Spinning. Got free. Flips it up there. Follows his miss. And sticks that one. Big time numbers, too. Here's George out of the corner. Yes, sir. He's switching. Collins. Nickel beyond the three. Collins thought about it. He'll drive it instead. Miami comes in. How about that?
He's out with the hip injury.
2 minutes to play here in Miami. George driving it around Barron. Scoop shot, yes! And a foul!
Right in the middle of the lane. That is a difficult shot, but his stroke's so compact.
And that's a difficult brainer, but like you say, there's still a ways to go. R.J. Godfrey has checked in for Ian Shefflin. Norchad Omier running the floor. That'll be a tough catch for Hall.
And what they're doing is extending the catches.
George ahead to Cleveland, who slams it. And that you had to guess matchups at the beginning of the night, you would have thought this is where Gerard would be, but this is where he's been, and George thought about it. Deep one for George, and he hits it to tie the game. The ball into Shefflin and take advantage of the size that he's got on Cleveland, but they haven't really been able to do it. And George at the advantage from the foul line. George keeps his toe down and buries the three. What a big... And he's already got more blocks and assists than he had all of last season. Kyshawn George with the steal in the last 17. One of the two losses was to Pitt when they didn't have Roach or Mitchell. Beautiful feed.
Horry. Kyshawn George knocks down a three. He needed to see
the ball. Excellent offense early by Georgia Tech.
George with a deep three. George, the trailer, lines up a three. And
staff, led by assistant Carl Hobbs, they do a great job working with these young players. Post, low post. And we saw him out there in shoot around, running around. He looks like he can still go get a double-double.
Kyshawn George
received. That was given by their head coach.
George gets free. He's got 16.
Confidence right there from Kyshawn George. 3-point field goal.
And Heels fans love the timing, right? As we close in on the NCAA tournament, first the ACC tournament, but
one in the country. And of course, anytime you think about Houston at number one, and not that they haven't been there before since, but always takes me back to the Fox Slamma Jamma.
Boy, look at this. And with the George wants to heave up a three. Got it.
Miami's full court defense.
8-0. There's another one. Picked off. George will turn and fire. Got it. A three-pointer.
Shot clock down to 7. Kyshawn George, a deep three. Buries it. Nothing. Team not known for their defense this season, but it's looked very good in this first half against Boston College. Scoop to the hoop. The shoot. George in attack mode, working on Madsen for a double team. Floats it up. He has knocked down 3 threes. Great pass. Omier. Rocks.
Been a lot of threes taken by both these teams, where normally we see Florida State doing more of that, attacking the baskets defensively.
Here's Bull Bowen off the bounce. The 6-point Florida State lead. Kyshawn George with the terrific feed, and there's
the switch fronting Rocco on the box as Kyshawn George is able to knock down another.
And here comes Kyshawn George. Throw it toward the rim. And Wooga
just 2 of their last 10. George, foul line leaner. Good. Nice patience by George.